Hey guys, Lianko here, and this is our list of shiny Pokémon. Shinies are the dream of any trainer. Finding one is a memorable experience and a highlight of any playthrough of a game, and overall, I think they're a great idea. And today we present to you our list of shiny Pokémon. Before we get into the list, I have a few honourable mentions. You're probably wondering how a list of shinies can have honourable mentions, but allow me to explain. First is Gyarados. Yep, first is the great choice of a popular Pokemon to introduce us to the world of shinies, the fabled shiny Gyarados. The reason this is on the honourable mentions list is probably quite obvious, but I'll explain anyway. While it was an encounter in the field, it's just because it was a scripted story segment to teach us about shinies, that's all. Doesn't take away from your coolness though, Gyarados, don't worry. The next few can actually be all grouped together, and they are Fearow, Rowlet, and Ariados. Simply put, these were shinies that I received in the Wonder Trade service in Pokémon Sun and Moon, so it wouldn't be fair to say that I got these myself. I'm very thankful though, not to mention surprised. Couldn't believe it when I looked at my screen when I got these. Fearow is a noticeable classic. Rowlet is so darn cute and its shiny makes it minty fresh. But it's funny, I was saying a little while before I got it how nice shiny Spinarak and Ariados looked, and then I got one of them. I aim to look for my own of all these in the future though, as getting your own is the fun of it. Now this is a list of my shiny Pokemon in the order I got them, so without further ado, the first shiny is Dratini. In Pokemon Black 2 or White 2, after conquering the Black Tower of the White Tree Hollow, your prize awaits you in Elder's house. I had White 2, so as you can guess, my prize was the shiny Dratini, which I am very grateful for, as Dratini and Dragonair are two of my favourite Pokemon. And I feel that not only does this shiny in particular match its graceful and elegant design, especially Dragonair, which I hope to hunt for one day, but I feel that it also perfectly encompasses what a shiny should be. Given how rare they are, and if you're lucky enough to ever find one in the wild, they should be exotic, nice to look at and fit their rareness factor. Now I know that the older games they chose the shiny colour palette in a very specific way, but I'm just saying is all. And this one turned out great. Just make sure you don't miss it if the shiny colours aren't that obvious. But I'll get into this more with another shiny on the list. Because this shiny wasn't technically encountered or caught, should this have been in the honourable mentions list? I don't think so, as this was earned through my own efforts. It has my trainer name on it, and I didn't get it for free over online trading services. Overall, I always wanted a shiny Dratini just because of how much I love the colour and the Pokemon, so it was a great surprise to receive one. I plan on keeping this as it is, as a symbol and a memory of my prize for conquering the White Tree Hollow. Thinking about it though, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten the shiny Haxorus on offer in that game as well, with a little breeding of some fully evolved forms. Oh well, it's done now. The next shiny is Patrat. During my time of finishing up the White Tree Hollow, I wanted to transfer over all my Pokemon from White into White 2, so I could continue to level them up there and just keep them all together. I had forgotten, however, that you cannot transfer from games with the same generation, so I caught the lowest level Pokemon I could in White 2 to trade them to my copy of White, and I have the boxes to prove it too. I'll show them to you now. But it was all worth it because battle after battle and I encountered a shiny Patrat. Needless to say, I was very excited and surprised. After having all those random encounters one after another, running into a shiny makes a lot of sense. But I had never thought that it would actually happen, simply because of how rare they are. I really like its subtle colour change, and its eyes are like, far out dude. Much like its evolution, which is even more like that. It's the eyes, man. It's the eyes. I hope to get my own Watchog one day though. But overall, Patrat is just cute. and I'm glad to have it shiny in my collection as my first wild shiny encounter Pokémon. It was such a surprise and a shock of an experience, something I never thought would happen. Now, my next shiny is actually the one that got me shiny hunting in the first place, and that is Snorunt. As I explained with Dratini, I feel like Snorunt's shiny is a good example of what a shiny should be. I love its colours, and again, how it really fits the theme of a shiny. It also fits the theme of the Pokémon too, being ice and blue and all. I SOS hunted shiny Snorunt over 5 hours of an evening and part of a morning. I wasn't keeping tally at this point, and I finally found it. It was quite surprising to actually find something I was looking for. I thought I'd have bad luck. I plan on keeping this Snorunt the way it is. Now this is a shiny that gave me some trouble, and that is Igglybuff. Remember what I said about not missing a shiny with colours that aren't obvious? You see, the thing is with Igglybuff, I found it the first night I looked for it. I found it under 256 encounters, I just sort of did one more for luck. But I found it under that number. But I'm certain when it did show up on my screen, I did put down my DS for a moment to do something else, but I heard a different noise coming from the DS. It's like a scene from a movie, and I unfortunately just carried on. I checked carefully with each new SOS encounter, but I never came across one, or so I thought. Putting the two images of regular and shiny Igglybuff next to each other, you can tell the difference, slightly, but in the heat of battle with the camera moving all over the place with the sunlight, it can be hard to tell. However, when it is called in and you are paying attention, you can tell. You just know. This makes me dread looking at my Pokédex after a hunting session, because going onto the stats screen to find you'd actually seen a shiny, but accidentally knocked it out without even knowing, it makes me worry if I'll ever miss one again. I doubt it, as I'm paying attention to make sure I film the encounter, but you never know. But luckily enough, I found it again on the next day after 176 encounters. I looked for this because I do like its look, no matter how slight it is, and Igglybuff is just cute. Like its evolutions, which look great too. It used to be more recognisable in the past, but that's a topic for another day. Because of this experience, I'm always reminded of this whenever I use it, and I'll probably keep it as an Igglybuff because of this. I knew at this point I had been incredibly lucky, and my next shiny would remind me of this, and that is Spinder. Given my experience of accidentally knocking out a shiny Igglybuff, I wanted to go for something that would be immediately recognisable, so I searched for a Spinder, and my sister agreed to this as well. And over the course of a combined 689 encounters over 3 days of play sessions, where they all ended with me accidentally knocking out the remaining caller, running away by accident, not from a shiny but just by accident, and leaving my DS on sleep mode, so when I turned it on I forgot how long the caller was out to the point of having it struggle to knock itself out, I managed to find it after an additional 52 SOS battles. I was very happy with this instant confirmation of looking at what it was. After all that time of the odds of it showing up after 70 encounters increased and not appearing, it shows up when the odds of finding one are lower. Magical. I find Spinders interesting anyway, due to how all of them are unique, and when you take into account how rare a shiny Spinder must be, wow. My Spinder appears to only have 3 spots anyway, so that's pretty cool. I like its green too. It's a deeper green. I know it was a solid red colour before, but I think if all the dots were a different colour, that'd be cool for a shiny. Now, in the making of this list, I actually hatched another one of what should go here, so we'll save that for later on the list. So next we have Gumshoes. After having the counter reset for SOS battles, 255, for the first session of a shiny I was looking for, I flew back to Pony Island to do some quick random battles before I turned off for the night. I walked into a random patch of grass, and there it was. Typically, I put the DS down for a moment to do something, again, and when I picked it back up, I was just in shock. I was just looking at it for a few moments, just couldn't believe what happened. It's a shame I missed it, but I was very happy, however, not just because it was a shiny, but because I was actually going to look for Young Goose and Gumshoes at some point, so I'm thankful to the random number generator for that one, and saving me time. I do wonder if I stayed in battle with that Pokemon for the one I was looking for just one more encounter, if it would have been shiny, but who knows. All I know is that I love the colour of the shiny Young Goose line, that, and the memes. My next shiny came a little later and through breeding, and that was Ponyta. I like blue and blue flame shiny Pokemon. I just think they look cool, so tried to get one of my own. I was talking about Ponyta with a friend, and here we are. I started hatching eggs and running around in circles outside the daycare centre, and I hatched a lot of eggs, put a decent amount of time into it over the course of 2 days. I put some of the new eggs I had gotten in Poképelago, and what do you know, the third egg I hatched was a shiny. I almost froze when I saw this because I didn't expect it to happen so fast, but I was so happy and I used the Masuda method for this one. I'll probably keep this as it is and hope to get another one for Rapidash at some point, as they're both beautiful. This next shiny is actually the one I found after Spinder, but I decided to group these together because, like I said, I found another, and here we have Politoed and Poliwrath. Well, okay, they were both Poliwags, but you get the idea. My initial Poliwag came after 5 days of play sessions, which involved running away by accident, not from a shiny again, and knocking out the cooler again, with a combined encounter rate of 950. Whoa. Seeing it come on screen got a bit of a delayed reaction out of me, to be honest, because I waited for the star to come on the screen before celebrating too early. And playing with when the sun is up on the game makes the normal Poliwag look a bit brighter anyway. That, or that might have just been what I thought after looking at it for so long, but I was just so surprised that I'd finally gotten it. I wanted to evolve it into a Politoed because of how complementary and beautiful the colours are, but my sister liked Poliwrath's green colour too, so instead of choosing, I thought, why not both? So I began to get another one. My next Poliwag came from breeding. I didn't put any eggs in the Poképelago this time, I just ran outside the daycare centre, and here we are. I hatched a good number of eggs though, and over the course of about 3 days. I used the Masuda method again for this one. The green is nice, it's clear and stands out, but these two evolved into what I'd always planned them to be anyway. I also want a shiny Poliwhirl on its own at some point because Poliwhirl is one of my favourites as well. But after the amount of time it took to get my first shiny Poliwag and the time it took to evolve it, I almost wanted to keep it as a Poliwag. And while I'm at it, I should just get another shiny Poliwag, so then they can all be shiny together and I can have one of all of them. Like one big happy Poly family. Hooray! During the course of editing this video I managed to find another shiny Pokemon, and I'll classify it in line with the others, and that is Alolan Sandshrew. I looked for Alolan Sandshrew because I like the deep blue colour of the Alolan Sandslash. Sandshrew is cute and the blue colour really adds a lot, and now I'm not really sure if I want to evolve it. I went into battle, found a Sandshrew, but I realised I still had the battle animations on, so I left the battle, turned them off, came back, found another one, and after 40 encounters later, I found a shiny Sandshrew. Similarly with Gumshoes, and all the Alolan shinies, they are created differently than the shinies of past. Running away from that battle was a blessing in disguise though. I could hardly react, my eyes just widened just because I got it so fast. Those Sandshrew are being annoying to my Marowak, my chief shiny hunter, so I'll take that 40 encounter and be very grateful. Now due to the creation of this video I've just wanted to shiny hunt more and more, and the day after I found my Sandshrew I found a Caterpie. I wanted to look for a Caterpie because I like the colours of all its evolutions, to be honest, but Caterpie is a classic and it was a fun hunt. After suspending hunting for the night and turning it back on, I accidentally hit the wrong target because the cursor didn't move in time, and I also ran away during the middle of battle because I moved the DS while doing something else. Again, not the shiny, just the regular one. I wondered if this spelled doom for my hunt like earlier, but luckily after a combined 372 SOS encounters, it showed up. Now then, I have mentioned her a few times in this video, and I did say our list. Can you guess? My sister also has some shiny Pokemon as well. She is looking forward to telling you about them, so I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you. Now my first Pokemon came as a gift. Crocodile. I got this Pokemon in the Wonder Trade on Sun and Moon. I like its design as it matches with the sand, and its body colour is similar to the non-shiny Pokemon that come before it as well. I like it shiny as it seems unique from other shinies. Big up second is Gyarados. I was looking on the GTS on Pokemon Sun and I found a really good deal, and they wanted a Dusknoir for a shiny Gyarados, so my lovely brother traded it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like mine because it looks a little different as it is a male. Gyarados is also very memorable, cool and strong. Next is Minior. This one is a different one because I found it in the wild and I was lucky. My favourite thing about shiny Minior is that they are colourful. I was so lucky getting one because I was trying to get other colour ones, but then I saw a star come on my screen. Then I thought that this is not real. I was so happy when I got it. It's hard to tell it's a shiny if you missed a star on the screen, as the shell is the same colour. Next is Torchic. I love Torchic, it's my favourite starter Pokemon. I put Blaziken and Ditto from the same country in the daycare centre. Then in 3 tries popped out a shiny Torchic. It was so amazing. It is so cute, I love the way it runs. Tried to get more Torchics to have one of every evolution, and I was very lucky to get a shiny Torchic in 3 tries. I couldn't believe it. I got this during the making of this video, and this is the final one. Ladybur. I wanted Ladybur because I like the colour of the shiny Ladybur. Ladybur is really cute. I like it when it calls for help because of the face Ladybur pulls when he calls for help. It's cute. The difference between male and female Ladybur is its black horns. I like the difference between male and female Ladybur so much. I got it after 59 tries. I left my DS on sleep mode overnight on 57 encounters and turned it on in the morning and got it after 2 more tries. I was lucky. If I did those 2 more encounters before putting on sleep mode, who knows? I keep all my shinies in a shiny box, and I hope to increase this in the future.
Oh, that is how we got our shiny Pokemon. Alright then, thank you for watching our collection of shiny Pokemon. Just wanted to do a video like this to show off what we had so far, so maybe a top 10 in the future when we hopefully have more. Who knows? Just anything to do with the shinies we have on this list or any caught in the future, you'll be updated on that. So if you liked what we did here today, be sure to give us a thumbs up, share the video with your friends and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to stay up to date on all of our content. So it's a goodbye from us, happy shiny hunting, and until next video guys.